Welcome to the YouTube channel for Dividend Dogo, and we're going to go over a brief overview of the 2020 end of year summary. So as you can see, I'm bringing you into the portfolio here in M1 Finance, and what we're going to be looking at is first of all the gains. This is a money weighted average rate of return. This is the raw market gains and then the earned dividends. This portfolio primarily focuses on direct dividend gains and growth over time. I'm hoping that I can use this over the next 10 to 15 years to create a portfolio that earns a significant amount of money to retire off of by the time my wife and I reach 50. So I'm going to bring you into what my slices look like currently, and we're just going to go through each of them relatively quick, and then in a later video we'll have more of a discussion on why I made the picks that I did with these stocks over the past year. So we are looking at only the 1 year, so you can see that there's this is my healthcare slice. There's some significant gains in where I elected to put the majority of my money over the past year, and we'll go through these more in depth later on. For consumer, I have a variety of different choices that I have swapped out some over the course of the year, but this is what it ends up looking like for the end of 2020. It is December 31st that I'm filming this. So the markets are currently closed, and this is the end result of the year. Obviously, AT&T is still kind of puttering around with the launch of HBO Max kind of being not what investors had hoped for. It's down a little bit. It did, however, it earns a pretty significant amount. So you can see that it's down almost $3,000, but it earned $1,600 over the course of the year. And Apple had a major run up this year. I had invested the majority of this money early on in the year, as you can see. I put in a large chunk, I believe the end of July. That ramped up very, very nicely, and really brought up the tech portion of this portfolio. And in finance, I've made a couple different bets. You can see that it went up. I'll explain why there's this massive spike here in May and then the massive drop. I made kind of a bet on a certain financial stock that's no longer in the portfolio, and I sold it, and then I slowly reinvested some money back over the beginning of August. And then I've been adding more to JP Morgan. I plan to add more into Bank of Ozark and JP Morgan, primarily to bring them up closer to Bank of America. I do have some other positions that I hold in here that I'm looking at adding to, possibly over the course of 2021. And in industrials, 3M started off with kind of a rocky year, and it didn't really go very far as I had hoped. But my other bets had done pretty well with Caterpillar and UPS. I wish I had put more into this, but that's for a later video. Of course, there's Lockheed Martin that got kind of slammed here at the end of the year, but there's a full evaluation there for 1 year. And as you can see, it ended up doing pretty decent for the end of the year this year. Utilities, I know a few people who are going to watch this video and be like, what are you doing? But VST is a bet that I went into about a month and a half ago now, and I just got my first dividend check from them just today, actually, which was $142.92. And this is a bet that was definitely a value play when I bought into it. As you can see, it's increased, and I've only had this position since November 18th. So this position's gone up pretty significantly for only having it for about 6 weeks. And I expect some serious growth out of this over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. And in real estate, I do hold Store Capital, ABR, O Realty, and LTC. I did change around some of these and have been adding, I'll be adding more to ABR and slowly adding a little bit more to O. I do hold O in another portfolio as well, which is a significantly larger chunk of both Store and O. And in energy, this was a very depressed sector due to a lot of different factors this year, not just the main thing that brought down the entire market in March. EPD was a value play. I went into this in September, and as you can see, when I bought in, it was relatively depressed, and I think that it will curve up further over the course of the next year. It yields a very hefty dividend, so I don't expect a ton of capital appreciation on this stock, but I think 2021 and 2022 are going to be very nice for this particular stock. And the other ones, everything again is relatively red here. I think that VLO will recover very rapidly, and Chevron is also in a very good position to go forward for 2021, especially as we pick up more with oil use and gasoline use over the course of the next year. And last but not least, I have a couple of the monthly payers. I did have more of these when I first started because I thought I wanted to build the portfolio more around monthly paying dividend stocks, but I've kind of pivoted since, as you can see, I put a bunch of money in. This was early 2020, and then you can see the market go down and dip. Things have started to kind of turn around and recover. I wish that I had put a lot more in BST, but other than that, PIMCO is in a position to bounce back up some through the course of the next year, but it also does yield a very, very high yield, and these are very risky stocks to hold. That's why you only see a small portion of the total portfolio in this, right around 1%. So this has been a brief glimpse into the portfolio over the course of the last year, and what the year looked like. As you can see, there was this dip where more and more money was going in, and I rapidly started funding the portfolio. I wish I had done more quicker, but you live and you learn with stocks. You continue to invest as high as you can and make things as good as you can make them. Research stocks and try to figure out exactly what you want to do over the course of the time and just stick to that plan. And as you can see, it was very rapidly funded, and I'll go into why and how this was done over the course of a couple videos in the future. But welcome to the channel, and if you enjoyed this glimpse into this portfolio and want to subscribe, give it a like, a thumbs up, add a comment. I'll try to respond to any comments that get posted, and we'll see where the future takes us. I hope that 2021 is a great year for you, your family, and most importantly, your portfolio. Dividend Dogo, signing out.